Actually, before we begin to talk about the TypeScript, a few words about something else. Sorry. Here. I was born in, sorry, I'm a little bit nervous. So I was born in Ukraine and I grew up there. And as you all know, what's going on right now in my homeland, they're fighting for the freedom, for independence. Today we have this after-party meeting with the speakers and sponsors. You can buy the tickets on the CTJS-Conf website. There's section tickets. You can find there the after-party tickets. And all money will be donated to the Ukrainian refugees, okay, and will help, so it's highly important. That's basically it. Thank you about it. Now let's talk about the TypeScript. Let's start. Do you see this code, the snippet? It looks like, because I don't see anyone with the light. Oh, like this. Anyone recognize the snippet code? Anyone recognize the framework, what we're using here? Louder, louder. Angular. Who said Angular? Your name? Okay. So Angular, yeah, probably. And here, what do we have here? Nest.js, right? Correct. Okay, guys, let's please repeat after me. Okay, we will listen. We will respond. No one will tell us what to do. Okay, so yeah, but I have a question here on this one, this simple component from the AngularJS based on AngularJS, okay? What do you think, how many kilobytes of JavaScript right now on this page? Minified and everything. No, too many, how much? Give me the number. 500 kilobytes, anyone? Okay, it's about 1.5K of JavaScript on this page right now because there's no Angular on this page. Okay, so it is not, you hear me here? Yeah, good. Okay, so there's no Angular on this page. What we see here is just a simple component, simple decorator, okay, that actually does the entire job. It looks like framework Angular, it looks like the API from the Angular, whatever, syntax Angular. But basically it's just a simple, don't look at the code itself, okay, it's not best practice or whatever. It's very ugly and probably someone will throw at me something, but yeah, this is just to show the possibilities, okay? Basically, and by the way, also here, and we'll go a little bit deeper on these specific examples. The main problem with the different frameworks, okay, and how we develop and how we use frameworks is that we don't know what's going on behind the scene, okay? We're working as like as a magic. Let's be honest. Who think he's a junior level developer? Okay. Mid-level developer. Great. Seniors. Experts. No one? Okay, great. So basically, usually everyone thinks that 5 years with React, Angular, Vue.js, okay, knowing the syntax make you senior. No, it's not, okay? It's make you senior only if you know what's going on behind the scene, how these things works. So today we'll go and talk about the TypeScript, okay? And let's come back. What's going on? My name, Daniel Ostrovsky. I work at GOH. It's a company that basically, we already talked about the ad blocking. We do ad blocking on the publisher website. So if you keep taking care about the content that you have on your website and you want to ensure what's going on, what the ads are showing up on your website, we can block, all the gambling and all whatever stuff or whatever you configure to be blocked on the website. My Twitter, okay, I'm trying to get 300 followers, so I have left only about 270 to this number. So please, let's do it today. Follow me. I really want to get to the 300 followers. I'm a developer with more than 20 years of development, full cycle evangelist. It's a whole topic about what is the full cycle meaning. I'm public speaker on 3 different languages: English, Hebrew, Russian, open source contributor, Meetup, and Hero. Here you can see my hobbies. That's what I was thinking, how it looks like when I started each one of them. Okay, snapping, sailing, and diving. And that's how it looks in the real life. So, Typescript Meta-Programming from 0 to 100. Small expectation, we're not gonna, seriously, we have like 20 minutes left, less, 10 minutes left, something like this. So, it's gonna be from 0 to 100 of 1 million, okay? So it's just, it's too much to go over. What is meta-programming? Something from Wikipedia. Okay, have the ability to thread other programs to their data and means programs destroy, whatever. Okay, so let's just simplify it, okay? What I should not to do. This is one of the most important things that when I'm starting to teach, to learn something, okay, it's to understand what the technology should not, how I do not abuse, what I should not to do is actually should not to change the business logic of the application. Okay, meta-programming is something that exists somewhere near around my code or around somebody else's code. Someone else uses what I'm preparing, okay, but it cannot change anything that other developer does or I'm doing in main code, okay? What it can do, it can analyze, okay, it's good for debugging, analytics, data collections, whatever. It can add flexibility, it can dependency injections, runtime assertion and validation of the types, who use TypeScript, etc. By the way, how many of you working with the object-oriented classes in TypeScript? Okay, functional programming? Thank you, you can go. Okay. So let's move to our code. You hear me well on this? Because, yeah, okay, cool. So basically, what is meta-programming? I'll talk about the specific thing, reflection. Okay, reflection is. I try to find definition of what reflection is on our ecosystem. Okay, but I couldn't find something that can explain it. You know, like for 5 years old. So for me, so I decided I will, give my own explanation of what is reflection. Reflection is the ability to set additional data, additional information for specific class or method or property that I will use somewhere in the future, that I can do something with it, okay, or about it. So currently we can see here the controller, right? It looks like in SGS, we can see here two different decorators, the controller that actually defines that this class will take care of the path posts. We also have here the the other decorator that get and params. Let's don't look at the params yet. Okay, cool. That basically talks about, okay, this method will take care of the base, like the first one. Yes, this method, the get list post, will take care of the base path, and the get one post will take care with the based on ID. Okay, so we're talking about here the REST API, right? Posts, get all list, get one by ID, and etc. How the application looks. Usually, where it is? Hold on. Yeah. Usually the Express application looks like this, right? All the roads with the callback functions in it. This is like regular, less or more. Okay, maybe it's not very accurate or whatever, but this is real code from the company that I just started work on it. That's I'm gonna break, delete everything, and throw away. And then controllers looks less or more like this, right? Like export functions, and whatever with all logic in it, services that required inside. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, so I like this much better, okay? I like when I can actually use the, I can use the classes, I can use the dependency injection, and I can use separate of concerns and logics, okay? To make some different layers. This one should to be responsible only for getting and responding the requests. The services should be able to handle, you know, with the database layer, on the business logic layer, on all this stuff. So, okay, let's go to the controller and let's see what's going on in it. Whoop. Okay. So we can see here the decorator controller. Okay, it's regular decorator. Okay, if you never worked with the decorators, just find me in the Medium. Okay, Dandoch81. There's article very nice about the decorators and how it works. So this is, as you can see, just function that return function. Okay, and you can see the reflect define metadata. And here right now is that I'm defining on the target that is my class. There's a key value, base path, it's my key that I will act. Then I can go back on this class when I'm working on this class on the runtime. I can retrieve this metadata and decide what I want to do. Okay, so currently what I'm defining there is a simple thing. It's just base path. This is my key, and the value of this base path would be the path that I passed from the controller. Okay, /posts. That's what I'm doing. Simple. I'm just saving this data somewhere on the class on the side, okay, to use somewhere in the future. Now, the same, by the way, we're doing less or more with the get. Let's look at the get. Okay, just definition, okay. Get, we're making some kind of factory, okay. Just function that accept get or post, depends on what I'm using. Okay, I can use get, I can use post, I can use delete, whatever, all other methods. And this is what it does. It's also save some data. Okay, we have the decorator, the method that I'm using, path. It can be empty string or ID or whatever, or any more complicated path. We also have here target, property key, and descriptor, okay? Now, here's a little bit more tricky if you never used decorators, but so first of all, let's define. We want to build our road, okay? We have the object road that we save property key. Property key is basically the name of the function, the name of the method on the class that is decorated, okay? Method, get, post, delete, whatever. And path it will be responsible on. So basically what I'm doing here, I'm creating some kind of a configuration object that says that this method, in our case was get one post, will be responsible for the path 2.id, okay? And will respond on the method get, okay? So when get on this path comment, this function should work. And this simple values, right? It's simple objects. It's not reference object functions or something like this. It's very simple object. Okay, then I'm actually retrieving or defining. Here I'm defining, then I'm retrieving, okay, to ensure that it exists, that I'm not failing somewhere. Get metadata, reflect get metadata that named roads. I created this metadata on the class, okay? And I'm adding the road on this class. So each time when these decorators are executed, by the way, decorators executed not on the runtime, decorators executed during the initialization of the JavaScript on the browser, on the runner, interpreter, whatever, okay? It's not something that running all the time. During the initialization. So when it goes through these decorators, it will add new road to this new definition. Will just, it's like array. Again, the definition, the get metadata, right? The metadata that stores, as I said, is key value. So key is the road, but value is list of definitions. In our case, it would be array of 2 objects of type road. Okay, one of them will hold the property key will be get one post, another one get list of posts, and the path, method, name of the methods, etc. Okay, both of them will be get, but basically this is the object that we saving as a metadata in our on our class. Okay, now where we're using it. The last one thing to mention is basically we changing the method here, descriptor value. Okay, it's the original method function. What I'm doing here, I'm actually saving it on site, okay, for a second, and updating it with some, I'm just retrieving here the request and the response. As you know, the express, who's familiar with this, right? Express on the callback is called with the response and request. So this is here our request and response that will be called later and show where it will call from. Okay, have some, we'll talk about this ability. So I'm just switching this function, and I do calling this function, the same function, the original function, with the same params, the same requests, okay? But I'll show later why and how it's done. Here's a controller handler. And let's go for a second for a server, okay? This is our server, the Express server, right? Nothing special. App post controllers. This is our controllers, okay? And the application, the client application is have the middleware that actually, no. Okay. Init controllers, controller handler. It's kind of middleware inside of our application. And here is the magic happens, okay? So on our decorators, we defined everything, okay? We just built it, we said, okay, this class, this controller, this class is responsible for this base path. Each one of the methods responsible for this, each one of the class methods, okay? Each one of the functions responsible for get method, post method with this specific path or params on the path. And that's what we want to do. Now, we build all this mapping. We build the configuration how this controller should work. Here, we're actually retrieving all this data, okay? Because this one was already runtime. We're retrieving this data. We're retrieving the base path. We're retrieving the roads, okay? And we're just going over the roads, playing with the path, with the properties, with the configuration that we saved inside of our decorators, okay? And here, if you remember this, don't need to remember, let's just look at this, okay? This line here, okay, these lines, app, road, get, and the callback, they all exist here. App, road, okay? With path together, by the way, and the callback. Okay? That's as simple as it. That's it. So I just built all this, okay, all this thing. I just built based on the configuration each one of the classes. Okay, so each one of the class have its own standalone separator. I have one file. It's a little bit maybe looks awkward, complicated. Again, it's not the best approach. It's just an example, okay? Definitely have to be like a lot of different checks and validations and to ensure that code is running, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the entire talk is not about to show all possibilities of the meta-programming, but to show, to inspire, okay? Basically to inspire to get into the frameworks that we work with, okay? To understand that we can write our own frameworks, okay? Please don't, we have enough of them. Okay, just please don't write new frameworks. I'm too old to need to learn something new, seriously, okay? But basically you can, on your local work, you can create a lot of different, probably, I'm sure, especially with the big companies, with the enterprise, you can create a lot of small frameworks that are dedicated for your use cases, okay? When you can create the logic of what it should be done inside of your framework and the business logic of the other developers will actually run your logic and do the things. Okay, I hope it's too complicated, but I hope I explained myself. So this is example of how these things works, how actually routing and other stuff. Here, we can see how the dependency injection works. Okay, I'll just show it for a second. Where is this? Okay. The dependency injection, we can see here the service, for example, okay? Also looks like Angular, but there's no Angular in it at all. So we have this, for example, where is this? Here we have the classes, right? We define that each one of these classes are injectable. Okay, it's just decorator that sets some metadata and says, hey, I am injectable, you'll be able to inject me, okay? And like regular classes, right? You have this. Now, when you will call on when you instantiate this class, with the using new, you probably expect to pass actually the instances of each one of these classes, right? So we'll create new movie service. In the scores, you will have new comment service, new CRUD service, right? So that's what usual JavaScript should do, or usual TypeScript should do. Okay, we don't want to do it like this. So all we want to do is just inject. Okay, I want to work like this here. Okay, this is my injector that I created. It's some function that return functions. Okay, it's a recursive function. It will show it right now. Okay, I'm passing the class that I want to instantiate. And when I'm getting back, I have class fully. Okay, I have a class instance of the movies with all dependencies already initialized. Okay, and up and running. By the way, I also can change it, make the providers, but we don't have time to talk about this. So here's the resolver. Okay, where it is? This is injectable, and here's injector itself. Okay. So it's basically, again, using the reflect metadata, we're using some default, there's on reflection, there's some default params on the metadata keys, like design parameters, that retrieves the list of dependencies on the class, okay, that we're passing into the instance. Calling token. If we have token, we're doing a recursive call, okay? Make the same. And if not, just return create the class, and the final return the new target. Target is our main class. So basically, this is also the simple example, not the best one, but it's a simple example of the dependency injection on 5 feet, something like this. That's it, less or more. If you have any questions, you can find me. I will be right now somewhere on with a booth, swags, okay? Or come to the after party again, buy the tickets. All the money will be donated, and find me there. I will be more than happy to answer to any of questions. Thank you.